on, brother?
What's going on, Randall?
Living the dream. How about yourself?
Doing well, doing well. We are getting ready to go live here. I'm just going to get everything situated here real quick, and then we're going to get started.
How's audio on this? I have a different mic, but I can actually usually call in when I use Zoom, so it's even clearer. But how do I sound right now? Am I echoing?
A little bit, but it's not too bad.
Yeah, let me do this anyways.
Let me get this going here. Yep, we're going to be live. We are live on YouTube and Twitch. Just getting everything. Oh, good. That's already updated, so that's good. All right. Yep, Twitch is working. What's up, guys? Welcome. We are live. Everything is working. Just checking the audio now. That's good. Go ahead, Randall. Give us a little shout out.
What's going on? Actually, how's my audio now? Is that better?
I'm checking here. Twitch is working. What's up, guys? Welcome. Got a 30-second delay, so I'm checking the audio.
No worries. It's always good. You never know when somebody might try to get naked on camera and you gotta shut it down.
Yep, audio's great. We can hear it.
Oh, awesome.
Everything's working. So how you doing, Randall?
I'm doing well. How about yourself? Long time no talk. I'm bummed that we didn't get to record the one last time. I thought that was a good one.
Oh yeah, Don was so beat up about himself by not hitting the record button, because we actually usually do hit the record button. For some reason he forgot, and he's really bumming about that. He wish he would.
You know what? I say it tells people sometimes. So hold on a second, because I got to pitch Funware. It's funny. I was just preparing kind of a white paper about this very thing, because as we talk about engagement and all the things that we're trying to build. My whole thesis on a lot of this is this idea of contextual engagement, right? And so actually we moved our office. I'm in a brand new office we're building right now, so we're still getting our real Wi-Fi setup going. So if I go in or out, I apologize. But I sent all this information about where to park and all this new stuff, because we got this crazy neighbor who doesn't take any shit and will block you in. So don't park there, park here, doing all this stuff. And I've sent all this information, and then people started coming in, and they're like, oh, man, I didn't know where to park. I'm like, yeah, but I sent you all the information about where to park a week ago. They're like, oh, I missed it. And the problem is it lacked context. It wasn't when they actually needed the information. It was a week too early. They needed the information the minute they showed up. Ironically, that's literally what our solutions do. They air traffic control people once you get on site or once you're actually taking an action. And so sometimes you miss people. If you don't get them in that moment, you miss them. So I will say that was probably one of the best AMA sessions that I've had in a really long time, in terms of just all sorts of different content, different plays on mining, different plays on hardware, all sorts of really deep technical insight. Guess what? You didn't show up, you missed it.
Yep.
No recording, no chance to go back and do it over again. You had to show up. You had to be present, because context matters. Where you are, when you are, what you want. Not everything in this world that you're going to have a do-over on. So you really need to think about that, whether you're a brand or whether you're a customer. How are you driving that contextual engagement to get somebody the right information at the right time in the right place? Because if you miss them, it might be gone forever.
Yeah, definitely. Timing is everything. I totally agree. So I actually been using the Fun Wallet app. I'm up to 60 tokens now. I don't know if you guys could see this. It's growing. It's going up every single day.
Now read what it says below there. What's that little blue box say down there? What is that?
It says refer and earn. Receive 5 Phtk tokens per referral. So share that referral link.
So not only can you earn, but you can start sending out that link to other people and get them into the wallet so they can earn as well.
Yep, absolutely.
And I will say, so people play with this now. One of the things that I want to always remind people of is a large portion, I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, right? But like a large portion of the crypto universe is fake. And not sometimes not even fake maliciously, right? Like, I mean, sometimes you got to fake it before you make it. But the reality is there's not a lot of, crypto entrepreneurs talking to Fortune 500 brands. They don't have the first clue what customers are going to require if they're going to materially adopt blockchain in any way. So things like security, things like, just how do you do authentication, how do you unwind stuff? You think Nike is going to put a $50 million budget on chain in an app if they can get bot attacked? No, you're going to have to provide people some sort of security, because as much as we love blockchain, the rest of the world does not see it as being so amazing that they're willing to take the risk of all these scams, fraud attacks, market manipulations, all these just kind of things that we just see every day for people who've been around the block a little bit longer. And so one of the things we're doing with Fun Wallet is it's still in soft launch phase. We spent our own money to build it. We're really focusing on the back end. So people might look at it and be like, well, all I'm doing here is answering some surveys. It's a lot more than that. That's just the proof of concept for the MVP for us to test all the rails on the back end. You have no idea how many additional security features we've been able to build over the last few months by just having Fun Wallet live. We threw it out there to see what people would do. How do you create fake accounts? How do you try to earn more than you really should? How do you try to create bot farms and do different, DDoS attacks? Or, what are all the other things you might do so that we can basically fix all those now before we really start scaling? And so, right now you got reward survey in there to earn. You'll certainly be able to do things like rewarded location, like, go here, earn more. Your first 100 people into my bar can earn more. So location-based offers, rewarded video. So, watch this commercial, do this thing, take this action. And really the idea is not for us to build some B2C platform. What we're really building is the rails, the tools to give brands the ability to better engage their community. So, I don't need you to come to the Fun House, our new office building, but, a bar down the street might want to use Phuntoken to encourage people to come to their bar. Well, we want to create that mobile ecosystem that enables them to do that, just like AWS. AWS is that cloud layer, right? And so they don't really care what your business is. They want to give you the tools to be able to develop that cloud infrastructure to let you focus on your business and let you hopefully do business better. We want to do the exact same thing with crypto. We're going to allow other brands to build on our compliant software layer in order to get the benefits of crypto without all the headaches.
That's awesome. In fact, I got a list of questions here that I do want to cover with you guys. In fact, if you guys are just now joining in, feel free, if you have any questions about Funware or Phuntoken, feel free to ask them in the live chat. We will have a segment at the end where you guys could, I will ask questions for Randall here. This is Randall, by the way. He is the Chief Operating Officer for Funware. So thank you, Randall, for being here. So my first question, I know you've already kind of touched a little bit on this already, but you guys saw I've been mining the Phuntokens here on my little wallet here on my phone, and you could do it by taking surveys, just by interacting with the device. You could be able to mine it, and then you just touch, and you can also do referrals as a way to get the Phtk tokens or the Phuntokens as well. Is there any other ways you guys could get the Phuntokens, or you could generate?
Yeah, so there's a lot, several different ways. Some are kind of earned, some is actually paid. So you can go to buy.phuntoken.com right now. You can actually, buy Phuntoken. You can go to Uniswap, and you can actually swap for Phuntoken on Uniswap version 2. And then you can also, go download Fun Wallet on iOS and Android. You can begin earning by just filling out surveys. And again, like I said, there'll be additional offers, additional features that will give you additional opportunities to earn. And then you can both refer through the Fun Wallet, which are really trying to bring people into the Fun Wallet ecosystem. But if you go to that buy.phuntoken.com portal, that'll also have another referral link. So you can refer people to buy, you can refer people to earn. All of that, you will receive different amounts of Phuntoken just for taking those actions and taking those activities that we help kind of build community.
Awesome. So I'm actually the other thing too. Question I have, because now that I have all these fun tokens, I'm trying to find a way. How am I able to withdraw or transfer these fun tokens? I have them shown here in my wallet here. Do I need to generate a wallet address in order to withdraw them or transfer them, or how does that work?
You do want to generate a wallet address, and that's more about kind of taking custody of them and making sure that those are yours. We have not enabled the withdrawal function yet, and so a lot of this is kind of going through compliance. So some people may know, some people may not know, but Phuntoken is just a digital asset, but it's by Phunware, a very real, very public U.S. Traded company on Nasdaq, and so everything for us is on the up and up. There's no scams. I'm not trying to hide behind an avatar. We're not going anywhere. We're not trying to rug pull anybody. And so a lot of this, as you saw, like, SEC just came after Coinbase. There's a lot of, interesting, let's call it strategies at play in the regulatory universe. And so for us, we want to make sure we're dialed in and doing everything appropriately. And so, we were working on that feature to be able to withdraw, which effectively just means, the ability to send, to transfer your token balance to, a different wallet address. Let's say you wanted to go to a centralized exchange that was possibly trading it, but, no centralized exchanges are trading it yet. So you're not behind the power curve. You haven't missed out on anything. But that secondary trading has a lot of complexity to it and how the SEC views different digital assets. So we're making sure that we get that right. We're having a conversation with regulators. We're having a conversation with our legal team to ensure that is all buttoned up and dialed in. And some of that is, okay, what are you going to do with it? Where is it going and why? And so some of this is actually product development stuff. We're working on some really interesting prediction, almost like gambling on predictions. We're working on some interesting things that will allow content creators to basically affect something like Pokemon Go, where you can actually hang, Phuntoken out in the universe and then, be able to display or content or engage, users or consumers. Hey, go here and you will get to see, listen to the first, 30 seconds of a new track or whatever. And maybe that's in sponsorship with, Starbucks or something. And so you can only listen to that, 30 seconds of the new Kanye track outside of a Starbucks or inside of a Starbucks for that matter. So, different branded opportunities, that functionality is important. And so I'm much more interested in enabling that functionality so that when you transfer out, it's to enable something like that versus when can I withdraw and just unload all this stuff and take my $10 and go home? That doesn't interest me. And so, we're doing this very methodically, very slow. If anybody's just wondering when they can cash out and go invest in something else, I'm not motivated by, your desire to do that. I'm motivated by my desire to build functionality. And so we'll announce that when it comes. It's not been announced as far as a specific date yet. But, months, not years. We do want to enable that and give people, the ability to do what they want. But even once they do, remember, we're introducing our own layer 2. So, like, whenever you're kind of mining, we have to have that security buffer in order to get brands to want to work with us. And so even when you're mining, you have not put that on-chain yet. And so the only on-chain tokens right now are tokens that people received either buying them or through one of the very few kind of promotional activities we've done where we did a sweepstakes, where we, kind of randomly chose a couple winners to receive some Phuntoken that we then issued. And so there's not a lot of free Phuntoken, floating around out there. That's what, I would have basically considered this kind of accrued token balance that you're showing on your phone. If we just said, okay, everybody can, transfer now, that would have a lot of downward price pressure, on the token as people kind of, rush to liquidate. And so that's not our interest. We're interested in building a nice, healthy ecosystem where we give people a lot of reasons to hold, a lot of ways to use their Phuntoken, and then a lot of brands that can actually, take advantage of whatever Phuntoken balance you have. And so we're working on that right now, and we'll certainly alert people more when there's like a fixed timeline to these things.
That's great. So another thing too, I noticed here, there's a second coin. It's actually a Phuntoken and a Phun coin. What's the difference between the two, and how can you get the Phun coin?
Very cool. It's very cool. Again, being public, we're setting milestones left and right. So we're the first public company to have its own utility token. We're the first public company to have a utility token show up on a decentralized exchange, and we're the first public company to begin down the process of issuing its own security token. So, utility, arguably, if the SEC has its way, roughly 11,000 cryptocurrencies are all securities. They are not going to prosecute 11,000 cryptocurrencies. They're not trying to kill this market, but they're trying to wrap their heads around it, especially because people can't help themselves. They keep scamming everybody. So the more these idiots in random places that have never met, that hide behind avatars, scam people, the more the SEC says we got to do something about this. And whether you believe in the SEC or not, they have the vast latitude in order to make people's lives very hard. And so, the security token market will come online, and it may actually be the future of how blockchain truly gets adopted by real enterprise customers and not just kind of fly-by-night entrepreneurs. So we're playing that game as well, but it's two different value propositions. So what's cool is this kind of blockchain-enabled ecosystem that we're building has two tokens right now. Phuntoken as a utility token. Think of that like picks and shovels. So every time you click something, share something, go somewhere, all that activity to just engage with a brand, that's all valuable, but in a different way. I'm just sharing something with a friend. I'm telling a brand that I might be interested in buying a car. But what's happening is that's generating data. And all that data is actually becoming now one of the most valuable assets, if not the most valuable asset on the planet. And so data is also something that we want to not only turn over to our consumers and actually let them control their data, but we want to make sure they're compensated when that data is bought. So let me give you an example. So I send you a rewarded survey through Phun Wallet saying, hey, you interested in buying a car? You say, yes. So I segment your device ID as somebody who might be interested in buying a car. Now, a couple weeks later, Lexus comes to Phunware and says, hey, we want to market to anybody in your ecosystem that's interested in buying a car. We got a brand new model. It's sick. People are going to love it. But we need to get that ad content to the right person so that they're the ones that are most interested in buying a car. If you just bought a car, I don't want to waste money and time bothering you because you just bought a car. So a couple weeks go by, you filled out that survey, you got your Phun token, you're living your life, you're having a good time, you open up your weather app, you check the weather, you close it, and right when it closed, you see an advertisement for a brand new Lexus. And you're like, how'd that get there? Well, Phunware sold your data to Lexus. You told me I couldn't. I gave you Phun token so that you told me what was important to you. Yes, you're interested in buying a car, so tell me what you got, world. Now, I sold your data to Lexus so that they get the right piece of ad content to the right person, you. Well, I sold your data, so I'm going to cut you in on that deal, too. I'm going to give you Phuncoin for that. So that picks and shovels Phun token is the value of engagement. Phuncoin, the data that's generated from that engagement that I might sell to personalize your experiences with brands or personalize the ads that you see, that's Phuncoin. That's the gold mine. So you got a utility token and a security token, both working harmoniously to deliver not only contextual engagement, but to deliver personalized advertising and personalized experiences both in the virtual world and the real world.
Wow. So the only way you could get Phuncoin is through the engagement from the Phun token, right?
Right now, so actually no, and this is something a lot of people don't realize. They work in tandem, but independently. So Phunware is actually a data company masquerading as a mobile software company. A lot of people don't realize this, but we've been collecting data for a very long time. And again, small diversion, but I always want to be transparent and honest with people. There is a role for blockchain to wear a tinfoil hat and never pay taxes and mask yourself from the world in anonymity and privacy. That's not my jam. That doesn't get me up in the morning. It absolutely is valuable to some people. There are absolutely companies who are going to innovate in that space. Not what excites me. What excites me about blockchain is radical transparency. This ability to know that you're not being hacked. This ability to know that exactly what's going on. I wish our stock market was on a blockchain. I wish all elections were on a blockchain. I wish all financial transactions were on a blockchain. Why? So people can stop trying to cheat the system. But that's neither here nor there. Let me get off my soapbox.
Yeah.
And so with us, we had an idea. Could we create a Phunware ID for every human being on the planet with a mobile device touching a network? And so through the software that we license or through all of our advertising, could we generate a Phunware ID for every human being on the planet with a mobile device touching a network? So far, we've generated about 15 billion Phunware IDs. 15 billion with a B. So at scale, our platform sees about 1 billion active devices a month. And so the idea is, all right, now none of that has anything to do with Phuntoken. That's just us. That's just Phunware. And so Phunware has a petabyte of data that when operating at scale generates about a terabyte a day. And so can we turn that over to consumers and say, you manage that? And could we begin to build out a business around just traditional ad tech, but personalized advertising, we call it data-enriched media on that data? We can compensate you in Phuncoin regardless of whether you've ever downloaded Phun Wallet, regardless of whether you've ever earned a Phuntoken. But as you begin to use that ecosystem, it'll make your data more valuable. So think about that LinkedIn profile where it's like your profile is 80% complete. Recruiters are trying to reach you. Same exact thing. So we might have some information on you, but some of it's probably dated. Some of it's probably not usable anymore. You might have moved. You might have a new mobile device. So we want to introduce a model where it's first-party data first. That's the future of how brands will have to engage with consumers. Apple and Google, they're exerting monopolistic control. You got GDPR in Europe, CCPA in California. You got state AGs going after tech companies for how they handle data. The future will be first-party data where you can manage consent. And so we're creating a blockchain ecosystem to enable that at scale.
Gotcha. So I got some general just discussions in crypto because I know you seem pretty knowledgeable in the crypto space. I want to really dig into your brain here. So obviously crypto is become global. Do you think some countries will benefit faster than others with the rise in the trends?
Yeah, I kind of always equate it to it's kind of like, think about like fiber and like Wi-Fi. Like we're U.S. is first world country. We're like pounding fiber into the ground everywhere. And then other countries are like, let's just skip that and go straight to Wi-Fi. Like technology increased such that a lot of people just kind of skipped the fiber generation and went straight to Wi-Fi. You go to Vietnam and it's Wi-Fi everywhere. A lot of places didn't have the necessarily the money or the desire to do all of this kind of real hard, heavy installation. But then technology caught up and you no longer needed it, right? And so I think that's going to be something that ends up happening with blockchain a little bit as well, where certain things. I mean, you look at what Americans don't realize, especially, is like the role of tech enabling like your entire life and commerce. The way people do. You go to Singapore, go to an Asian country. Open WeChat and you'll just be blown away. You'll be like, oh my God, like it literally is infused around everything they do. Just one digital center of gravity. And we don't do that over here. And so I think you're going to see blockchain probably adopted faster in countries like that. We saw the same thing. I spent a decade basically investing in tech-enabled healthcare. Our healthcare industry suffers from the same problem. Like I love our health. I don't want to go get healthcare anywhere else. But it doesn't mean our healthcare industry functions great. It's one of those things where it's a big behemoth, and we send a lot of innovation outside the U.S. because of the FDA. And they just say, screw it. You know what? I'll just go commercialize this technology somewhere else. So you're seeing that happen with blockchain. We've got to be very careful as a country and as regulators, because the regulators are like our parents, and they don't, pardon my French, they don't know shit about shit. And so you listen to them, like try to interview Facebook and you try to interview Mark Zuckerberg, and the questions they're asking are like cringeworthy because they're like, dude, do you even know how to turn on a computer? Like you are not prepared to regulate anything because you don't understand the technology. And so we have this very serious kind of existential problem in kind of first world countries where, the regulations that were meant to protect us are really going to hold us back. And you've seen it with blockchain. People can live anywhere, they can go anywhere, they can do anything. There is nothing that regulators are going to be able to do to put the genie back in the bottle. And so what they have to figure out how to do is create a safe space for that genie to operate. And right now, I think other countries are doing that better. And so they're going to benefit from blockchain first. And we will, kind of be a little bit late to the game if we're not careful.
Gotcha. So I got another interesting question here. How much influence does the retail investors have over traditional fat cat Wall Street? Do you think the people will ever be able to have more sway than the man?
Zero. I mean, okay, look, everybody, this whole GameStop thing.
Yeah.
Is like, I mean, like, I forget what the adage is, but like, everyone gets lucky, every once in a while. So, and there were plenty of Wall Street people who benefited from, GameStop as well. Like, there's way more people that made money than lost money. So yes, can you every once in a while, jam up, some short seller? Sure. But, the man has been the man for a very long time. The man will be the man for for all intents and purposes forever. And I say the man, gender neutral, the woman, the man, the system, whatever it is, will be around long after, we're dust. And so what people don't understand is they're not wedded to any one financial instrument. They're wedded to power and, any one possible, commodity, currency, whatever can get power. So whether it was furs, spices, land, water, air rights, gold, blockchain, they don't care. They're not stupid enough to care. They just, if it works and they can generate more wealth, which generates more power, they will absolutely adopt it. Goldman Sachs and Bank of America own more IP around blockchain than anyone else, hands down, by far.
Yeah.
So they will control it until it's big enough that they can benefit from it. De Beers owns the patent on like a laboratory tested, completely cannot tell the difference, basically diamond. And, they own the patent because that would obviously, hurt them. But they also own an enormous amount of supply because diamonds aren't that rare. And so people will figure out how to control an ecosystem until they can properly benefit and generate wealth from that ecosystem, which again ensures power. And so, I think that for us, blockchain has so much potential. But retail investors truly don't yet understand the machine that goes behind blockchain, but also goes behind Wall Street. I see it every day. If you don't understand what a market maker is, if you don't let's take blockchain, for example, if you don't understand why 70% of the volume that you trade on is fake and you're actually stupid for believing it, and I don't mean that to be mean, I'm just saying, you think that tiny little nonsense coin that you've never even heard from in the last 2 years is doing $5 million of volume on some no-name exchange? Come on. Like, you got to be smarter than that. It's fake. It's a market maker taking two different wallet positions, trying to inflate the price with synthetic volume, waiting for you to make a move, and then they've automated the ability to sell out, just making money on basically the fact that you're naive. And so they did not make up that model. Wall Street has been doing this since the dawn of the internet. The businesses that actually laid fiber into Wall Street so that they could trade a fraction of a second faster than anyone else. And so these things are all, I think there's some crazy statistic now, like 80% of, all trading is like automated or something. Don't quote me on that. But it's something like crazy high.
Yeah, I've heard it's pretty high, yeah.
Yeah, and so machines are doing this. You are literally, you think you're selling, and then you're like, hey, eating Cheetos on mom's couch, and you think you're like, some genius. Like, some machine is front-running you, beating you, responding to you, reacting to you. So the only way you really kind of, take it is, go watch Ocean's 11 with George Clooney. He's like, you play long enough, the house always wins.
Yeah.
Unless, on that one hand, You bet big enough, and you take the house.
Yeah.
That's it. That's Wall Street in a nutshell.
It's gambling almost especially when you're trying to trade.
If you're not educated and prepared and understand the entire ecosystem, it might as well be gambling. You're 100% right, because you are playing against people who have just institutionalized this on an entirely different level. And if you don't know what dark pools are or naked shorting, like, so take, for example, shorting. You can short a stock up to 1 million shares in a day, and it looks like 1 million shares are shorted, but because of the way you settle, you may have actually only shorted 10,000 shares. But to the retail investor, you think it's 1 million. You're like, oh my God, this company is getting shorted. I better sell, sell, sell. You sell, they buy it, and you didn't even know, you weren't even in the game, much less knowing what the game was. You were just manipulated. And so, people, hedge funds take both sides of the bet all the time. They'll pay people to pump a stock. They'll take a price. Then they'll short it back down. They'll make money all the way back down, and they just rinse and repeat it. So, no, do retail investors have any control over Wall Street? As an answer, no. As an ethos, when you can pull off a GameStop, sure, you can show that there is a chance to actually take the house. But as a methodology, I'm more comfortable with finding companies and teams that I don't mind holding for years, and I like where they're going, and I treat it like a 401k or a mutual fund. You had a chance to invest in Amazon for 10 years below $100. Now everybody's sitting around thinking, oh, Bezos is an idiot. He's a bookstore. What's he doing? Okay. He saw that there was going to become something called the on-demand economy 10 years before anybody even knew what that term was.
Yeah.
And so he built an unbeatable competitive advantage in data storage and supply chain management. For 10 years, nobody fucking knew what he was doing. Everyone thought he was stupid. The stock crashed 60% 4 different times, and on one of the occasions, it crashed from $100 down to $6, like a 90% crash. And you could have invested in that for a decade, just plowing money into it, because you believed in his vision and where he was going to go. You know what? No one did. Some people did. They don't work right now. But it wasn't until it was like cruising through $1,000 a share that people were like, oh, yeah, you hear about Amazon? They're really good. I like what they're doing. You miss it. And so same thing with Bitcoin. Like, you got to, in my opinion, you find something where you believe in the people, you believe in the passion, you believe in the direction, and, you believe in their perseverance, but you also persevere as an investor. You just kind of, you have to have that stick-withedness. And, unfortunately, a lot of retail investors don't.
Yeah, I actually agree with that, and I think that's actually one of the problems and one of the reasons why we go through these vicious cycles is because of this psychology, especially in crypto. I think in cryptocurrency, a lot of the community could be their own biggest critic, and they can actually put themselves back. But they see these projects, they say they drop 90% in value in a bear market, and they call it a scam or a rug pull, and it's just like, I mean, yeah, some of them are, but you can't just call everything that goes down 80-90% a scam, especially when you see Amazon and stocks and companies going down in that value too. So I think
I gotta ask a question, because I want your insight on this.
Sure.
Because I have, I think we've talked about this in the past, but if you ever read Peter Thiel's book, if you wrote one, he talks about a non-consensus thought. Like, what is something you believe that other people do not? And I have a bunch of non-consensus thoughts, probably does not speak well of me, but I am very contrarian, when it comes to society sometimes. Just really think about, does this make sense? Like, when something's going on, one of the biggest lessons I could teach people is to just wonder, what's the angle? Do you, say, okay, hey, I'm going to go invest in, my buddy's restaurant. I believe in my buddy. He's got this great taco business, and, he's got a great location, and I'm going to put, all of my net worth into this taco business. we're going to crush it. We're going to create franchises everywhere. And then all of a sudden, it doesn't really go well. Initial reports from the community are like maybe it's derivatives, maybe nobody cares. So you think, well, man, this isn't moving as fast as I wanted to. I want my money back, but I want at least a 2 or 3x with my money. I'm going to go park in front of that taco restaurant, and I'm going to scream at every customer, this place sucks. That's how I'm going to get my money out of this.
That doesn't make
sense. Does that make sense?
Nope.
You go into the restaurant and just start, like, punching customers in the face. So you got to think, like, is that what people are doing? Or is there a different game afoot? The person you're fighting with in Twitter, or Facebook, or StockTwits, they're probably a paid gun somewhere in Israel just laughing their ass off about how juiced up you're getting about some stock or some crypto. There are literally call centers filled with people who do nothing but fight with people online about stuff they are not invested in that they could care less about. They are hired to make it look like people either hate a product, they write fake reviews, they hate a stock, they go on StockTwits and bash stocks. They're literally called paid bashers. They'll go in Telegram forums, and guess what? Somebody is profiting from that. Because they don't care if the stock goes up or down, if the crypto goes up or down. Only retail investors who YOLO'd in care. The market makers, the money generators, the people who have institutionalized trading, they make money up or down, bear or bull. They do not care. And so this idea that all of these people who hold these assets are going into Telegram or Discord or just screaming to the world, this is a big pile of shit. This is a shit coin. This is stupid.
Yeah.
So they're just lighting their own money on fire. Why
They
would they do that?
Yeah, and that's what's funny, too, is because you'll have one or two of these paid actors post some stuff, and then it creates a domino effect, and then all those people that realize they're posting this stuff, it's going against their own self-interest, and it's just idiotic.
I love it.
It's
people
crazy.
always say, like, I just did a podcast yesterday too, on YouTube, because it's funny, because I did it about a week before this latest deepfake with Binance, but I've been telling everybody, I'm like, dude, my biggest worry is deepfake, but, like, honestly, who needs a deepfake, man? We fake ourselves all the time. Like, I don't need we don't need to see somebody look like somebody to say something to believe it. All we need is to see it on Twitter. And we're like, oh my God. Like, forget if there's like a blue check mark. Forget if we actually do our own homework. Like, people will believe anything. They will repost anything. There's a stat that like 70% of retweets are never actually read or opened. People just see them, and then immediately, like a tweet with a URL, 70% of the time is just retweeted without even reading the URL, without even opening it. Like, what kind of insanity is that?
Yeah.
Like, we live in a very interesting, something people should look at. Have you heard of Pulesi?
Pulesi?
Yeah.
No.
Not a crypto. Nobody searched it. Payless.
Payless, okay.
Opened up this luxury retail store for one day in LA.
Okay.
They basically made it look real high end. They stacked it full of actual Payless shoes.
Oh, wow.
Marked things up by like 1,800%. So $40 pair of Payless shoes. They said it was $645. Invited a bunch of fashion influencers and celebrities and, sycophants into this, store. Called it Pulesi. Looked like Louis Vuitton. And people bought everything there. There's all these interviews that people were going, oh, man, you can just tell it's quality. I can't wait to tell people, like, where I got this from. And it just goes to show you how, I don't want to say stupid, but I mean, how influenceable people are.
How
nobody
misinformed, how misinformed people can be. And another thing to tie on that, too, is stockbrokers and exchanges don't make any money unless you sell.
Yep.
So there's
unless you let them borrow your shares. Every single investor, if you are not trading options or you are not, a skilled investor, if you're just clicking buy on TD Ameritrade, you need to submit a letter to TD Ameritrade telling them they do not have the permission to loan out your shares, because that stock that you bought they are going to somebody who is shorting that same stock and loaning your shares to that other investor who's taking the other side of your bet. Like,
yeah, that's crazy.
You've got it. Like, why would you let somebody take the other side of your bet? You know how many people listen to this advice and go and tell their broker not to loan out their shares? Zero. Yeah. I've been saying this for years. Nobody does it. Nobody takes the time. They're like, what difference could I make? And that's why retail is not going to ever beat Wall Street.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, let's get back to the topic of owning and mining your own data. How does that work, and how does the blockchain play into this scenario?
Yeah, so I think that, and this is probably a good segue, at least in what I view as like the real benefit of like NFTs. Data as a whole, like for me, our company was built on the idea of contextual engagement in a mobile-first world. So like, I can use mobile software to better engage you when you're most likely willing to engage with me. Cool, full stop. Well, if that engagement is valuable, then I might be willing to incentivize it. If it costs me $4,000 every time, you do X, then I might pay you $1,000 not to do X. It's just customer acquisition cost, it's customer engagement cost. It's a cost avoidance, if you will. And so I think what people need to understand is blockchain is not very it's not worth the risk or the headache in 9 out of 10 use cases. People are just chasing a fad. But in certain things, it's actually why blockchain, it's glaringly obvious. Microtransactions, blockchain can do them better, 100%. Authentication, blockchain can do it better. So if how I engage you is worth something, and I want to incentivize that engagement, well, who I engage is also important. So I want to authenticate that engagement. So blockchain, in terms of Phuntoken, being able to kind of incentivize that engagement, Phuncoin being able to kind of authenticate that engagement and compensate you for your data is very powerful. But taking it one step further, really kind of this idea of like what could data represent in terms of blockchain, that's where I get jazzed about NFTs. Like, I don't think of, look, the whole world didn't fall in love with art overnight. Like, NFTs, by and large, are just a way to get around security regulations. I said it. Sue me. Nobody wants to be honest. Let's be fucking honest. We transact value by making it an NFT. We get around the ambiguity of utility tokens. Full stop.
So you're saying NFTs are altcoins, but with JPEGs.
100%. It is. Which I kind of love, right? Because and I don't know why nobody wants to call a spade a spade. It really annoys me. So and I probably, people ask me not to talk as much because I'll tell you the truth. At the end of the day, first we tried ICOs, that didn't really work. Then we tried IEOs, and we were trying a million other amalgamations of utility tokens, and we realized the SEC was just like, come on. And then we were like, you know what? Let's make it a picture. All right, cool. Pictures work. And so, this idea that, artwork is the end all be all is not it. But like everything, you got to start somewhere. It doesn't mean that the innovation is bad. It just means that these are the very first iterations of what that innovation could mean. What I get excited about with NFTs is data. This idea of personalizing your data. Like, I want your data profile, all that data we're generating, I want that to be represented by an NFT. So rather than having royalties on a picture, I get royalties on my data. That gets me excited. And then you almost see this world in which you have, kind of side chains of data. Like, I want to be able to share my data with you while that is interesting to me. Like, hey, are you going to send a kid to college? Okay, yes, I don't mind sharing data and getting information from brands who are interested in that, whether it's loan programs or whether it's getting a new computer for my kid or moving moving services. But then once my kid's in college, cut that chain off. Leave me alone. I'm done. I don't want to keep getting stuff for that. I get advertisements from the Navy still, and I'm like, dude, I went to West Point in '98. I think I'm too old to even join an armed service anymore. Yeah. But I'm certainly not going to join the Navy. I'm not your target market for a lot of different reasons, but they don't know that. And so I think this concept of personalizing your experiences is one amalgamation of NFTs. I should be able to, I look at it like QR code was interesting, but I feel like the QR code of the future is going to be rooted in NFT technology. Like this idea that like I could walk into a hotel room, and we can do this with our software. We just launched at Atlantis in the Bahamas. I absolutely want to roll something like this out where you check in, you use your phone to access your hotel room, and because your phone is connected to your wallet and your wallet is connected to this NFT that represents you, the minute you walk in, everything personalizes. It's basically like a walking calling card for everything that who you are, where you are, what's important to you, and basically, the brand is benefiting from, that data profile that you carry with you. It's this kind of, it's digital passport in the best possible sense, where, you're really customizing your experiences. And I might say, so one of the things we're working on that's going to be really cool, and I kind of alluded to this before. So Atlantis, they made like over $50,000 through their app the first month we launched. Within the first week, within the first month, they made over $500,000. So now they're thinking about like, okay, what else could we do with this? Could we create like augmented reality scavenger hunts, really introducing that Pokemon Go like methodology? And we want to do that for all brands. So could you actually get certain things in the virtual world while you're kind of engaged in real world experiences? And that's a really cool use case for a lot of this, where you're actually taking your data and then basically informing your real world experiences. So let's say I'm walking down, I live in Austin, headquarters is here in Austin. 6th Street is like one of the highest concentrations of bars and restaurants, per square mile, like in the world or something. It's crazy. But as I'm walking down that, all I see is what I see with my naked eye. What if I could hold my phone up and see a virtual overlay of that, of that real world street? To see a virtual overlay. Well, to me, I might be interested in, a virtual billboard for sports, maybe, some health and nutrition stuff. But my wife, she doesn't give a crap about any of that stuff. She wants fashion, things that deal with skincare. And so both of us could be in the same place in the real world, but looking at advertising totally customized to us based on our data profile. It's in real time, it's dynamic. It's this NFT that represents your data. And you're basically licensing it out to all of these brands who are trying to show you the appropriate content. So what's really cool is where we're going to take this idea, Fun Wallet being where you can manage your assets, but Funverse being this kind of app within an app experience where you can engage with all of these brands in the real world, but with virtual world information informing those experiences.
Gotcha. Wow. Yeah, that blows my mind. Let's talk about the meme stocks. So we talked a little about GameStop and Bed Bath and Beyond and so forth, but Funware had its moment in the spotlight as it was a meme stock. How do you feel about the current trends that we see in Reddit and Twitter with the brands like Bed Bath Beyond, GameStop, and Redbox, etc.?
You're kind of back to what we were talking about before. Like, I don't have I'm kind of it's ambiguous. I don't have a negative feeling or a positive feeling. It's just kind of more curiosity to me. Like, I think it's interesting when, like, I thought GameStop was really interesting. I mean, I'm as much as I say that, Wall Street keeps beating retail, it's not because I like that. It's just because I'm being honest. I wish it wasn't that way. And so anytime retail can take its shot, I like it. There's one interesting benefit to that, too. I hope it gives people pause. Like, people love to short. People love to, we've had that problem, in Funware, people shorting Funware. And so, last October, same exact thing happened where, Funware investors caught short sellers in a squeeze, and called a short squeeze. And our stock went vertical. And that's because all of a sudden, all these people who were betting against us had to cover, and they couldn't cover fast enough, and the stock just goes, vertical. We did like $6.5 billion of trading volume in a single day.
Wow.
And so, I think I hope that gives people pause. Like, if you're a hedge fund who's just been loving shorting stocks, and you think it's so fun to bet against a company, bet against a team, and you start thinking like, well, hold on. Like, I would think that. Like, if I was an investor, there's a whole bunch of companies nobody's ever heard of, and short sellers will find the right kind of key performance indicators and the right financial ratios, and they'll just short them, and no one will ever know. But for the ones that like people know, Funware is one of them. If you're a hedge fund, do you really want to roll the dice on over shorting Funware? Maybe not. And if I'm a retail investor, I'd actually be super excited to own Funware versus another company, because there's always that chance. Once you show you can do it once, you can do it again. And we're on a lot of people's radar. We're on a lot of people's starred tickers. And so when we start moving, people start thinking like, oh, is it going to happen again? And so I think that gives certain short sellers a little bit of pause. And so I hope people are worried about, shorting Funware. I want to burn every short I can find. I want to prove to them that, they bet against the wrong company 1,000%. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how these play out. Like, I'd love to see the numbers on it. I don't have them. I'm sure somebody's done them. Is GameStop and AMC and, Bed Bath & Beyond and Funware, are they shorted just as much today as they were before they became, these kind of very well-known stocks? Now, the difference is we're doing something for tomorrow. All these other brands, they were doing something for yesterday. So, I have a certain feeling around that. Like, I don't want people. I wish they would. I wish that they would rally around Funware in a big way, and because what we're doing is the future of technology. GameStop is, come on. I mean, there's nothing innovative about GameStop. There's nothing innovative about AMC. Those are bygone business models.
Yep.
And so I don't like that retailers are just doing this with businesses that it kind of devalues the movement, right? Because you don't really believe in these companies. You're just being obstinate. You're being kind of silly. Do it in companies where you say, this is the future. They're just getting started. They're going to usher in a new era of how we engage with brands. Like, really get behind something that is, whose time is yet to come, not, just messing with companies just because you can.
Yeah, and it's kind of the sad thing about it is you're seeing these guys, they're aping into Bed Bath & Beyond and GameStop, and a lot of these brands, I mean, they're becoming obsolete. Like, and it's just like you're gambling, and I get the idea, I get the why. Like, I do like that you're betting against, the hedge funds, and you're for market fairness. Like that, I'm all for, but at the same time, remember what you're investing in, and maybe the company itself may not be in the best interest of its investors either. So that's also another thing you have to worry about. We saw what happened with Bed Bath & Beyond. Ryan Cohen, he dumped all of his shares on top of all of his followers. Like, everyone was following him, but he was pumping Bed Bath & Beyond, and then he dumps it all on top of them.
I mean, it's exactly right. I mean, I think that's the real... going back to, again, we've touched on this a couple times, but kind of, are we the product, right? It's like there's just this situation that keeps happening where, that person selling you that, how-to book at 1 a.m, they're not making money on what they're telling you how to do. They're making money on the book that you're buying. And so, it's kind of a little bit of a, do we really have the right role models, and are we really setting the right example? And if I'm like, Goldman Sachs watching people screw around with, GameStop and AMC and Bed Bath & Beyond, and be like, you clowns, like, what are you doing? Like, it's not real investing. It's not a real investment thesis. And you're almost devaluing the whole idea that the market should be fair. Most people are looking at this going, this is the reason why it's not fair, because you don't know what you're doing. And this is stupid. And
they're actually manipulating the price. Yeah, it's making the company more valuable than actually
more attention from the regulators. And guess what? Now I guarantee you there's a bunch of hedge funds who are making money on the efforts of this meme stock. So I bet if you could actually do the analysis, hedge funds have made more money predicting what retail is going to do trying to battle hedge funds than they were even making before they did it. They probably printed more money off of AMC, GameStop, and Bed Bath & Beyond than they were ever doing before, because now retail has created all this volume and liquidity and volatility. And that's their game. It's that volatility. And so it's a real shame that I think this has kind of taken a different turn.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree. Well, I'd like to get a look at the community here and see if we have any questions here from the community. So let me go ahead and grab some, which look through here, the live chat. Live chat's actually been kind of quiet today. Got a few questions here. Let's see, get some conversation going. Recently, hospitality contracts at Atlanta, especially with the $50 billion on Marriott. I guess that has nothing to do with us. Gonna share on it? Yeah, that's just shilling. I see some shilling. let me check. I know we got questions on Twitter. I do see some shilling and a few questions here. So where did you get the name Phuntoken? That's actually a question we have here on Twitter. How did you come up with the name Phuntoken?
Yeah, obviously play on fun. So, funware is, play off, FUN, but it was kind of always this idea that we're going to basically develop and license mobile software that exhibited game-like mechanics and behavior. So, fun. And it's supposed to be playful. And then obviously staying on brand, PHUN is our NASDAQ ticker symbol. And so, PHUN is kind of that, that root, and then everything else is kind of flown from that. So Fun Wallet, Phuntoken, Fun Coin, and now Funverse, all different aspects of a broader, not only blockchain-enabled ecosystem, but really just a broader mobile technology company ecosystem.
Got it. So getting into the metaverse, how is Phuntoken going to be I personally think you guys kind of going to be more of a disruptor to the metaverse than to be part of one, because you're really looking on going I think you brought up a really good analogy or example would be Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
So how what do you guys think? What do you think of that? I mean, what do you think about the metaverse? Do you guys do you see your people wearing those goggles, actually walking around down the street wearing those VR glasses?
So that's very, very, very. You said some insightful things there that are worth unpacking. One, and I know this makes me unpopular, you can believe two different things because time is still an important variable. So, flying cars sounds really cool, but it's really hard to do in the real world. It's really easy to fake in a movie, and it's really easy to kind of think how life might change once we can live in 3 dimensions. That's the issue with, most of our cities is, we live in 3 dimensions, but we drive in 2 dimensions. And so that creates a lot of problems. They're very real problems that need to be solved. Some people want to dig down and do tunnels. Some people want to try to innovate and do flying cars. Guess what? We all still drive around on the street. We've been looking at flying cars in movies forever. It's never become a reality because it's really, really hard. Right now, the metaverse is the exact same thing. We saw Ready Player One, and we're like, yeah, the metaverse.
Yeah.
No, we are so far from that even being remotely possible. It's not going to be something that impacts our daily lives in a big way. Maybe our kids, maybe my grandkids. I think there's a lot of potential for it. But we are years and years and years away from the bandwidth, the form factors, the utility. And here's the thing that I think nobody's really talking about. We are social animals. I don't want to disappear into a virtual world. I want my real world to be better. I want to tech enable and get more out of real world experiences. So I believe that there will be a role for virtual worlds, but I think initially and for a long time they will be to serve real ones, to be able to give us information at our fingertips in the real world that will benefit us. I don't want to stay in the house all day, and we saw it, and we saw a glimpse of this in the pandemic. People, the minute you could fly again, traffic was right back up to normal. People want to live. They want to be with people. We're communal animals, and so I think that the metaverse will play its role. But first, there'll be a really big move to tech enable the real world, and that's where we're playing in a big way. So even the Funverse that we're kind of creating is that Pokemon-like overlay of the real world, so that you're getting more out of those real world experiences. I think for us, the metaverse as a way to curate information is interesting. The way to just solely transact, I think you'll see it like in gaming first. You'll see it in kind of like, social settings, like, just places to meet. But that's not the way people really consume brands anymore. Buying a new skin, all right, there's some money in that. Meeting people, if you're in a digital nightclub and you see a billboard, we want to still play in that space, and so we can enable that incentivization, whether it's in the virtual world or the real world. But I really get more excited about what we can do in the real world more so than the virtual one.
That's good. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think there's going to be a big gap for a lot of people to go from real world to the metaverse, and you're definitely going to need something to fill in that gap. And I think you guys are definitely going in the right path there.
The other thing that I think nobody ever realizes is this: how transformational this is. Because let's be honest, the reason why, so to answer your last question about goggles, it'll never happen, ever. I would record this, screenshot it. You will never see a goggle-first real-world generation. Why? Because we're sketchy as hell. If I'm talking to you and I realize you're wearing smart glasses, conversation's over. Take off your glasses. Like, what are you, recording me? Like, no way. Like, people are not going to feel comfortable. You go into a nightclub with some goggles on. Like, no. Take your shit off. Like, you have brands telling you no recording on site, no recording in the gym. But this is different. Like, if I just want to, open this up, it's clear what I'm doing. I'm looking at something.
But
and
even
I'm telling people, hey, I'm looking at something, and I can put it down.
But even then, when you're in public going like this, that you could get negative reactions just from doing that.
Absolutely.
So
it's uncomfortable. You're exactly right. People are a little more. You saw it with Pokemon Go. You saw it with like Periscope when the live streaming things are up, and people are relatively comfortable with it now because of all the stories and selfie generations of the world. Like this isn't like going to get you beat up.
Everybody's on their phone now. Yeah. Everybody's on their phone.
Exactly. And so I like that, where it's I want to look at something, put it down, put it back in my pocket, live my life. I don't want to, I want to use this as a window into a virtual world. It gives me more information, but then I want to get back to the real world.
Yeah, I hear it. So the guy responded back. So I got a question here in the live chat. He said, "No, this is not showing." He's wanted some conversation on the hospitality contracts that Alan alluded in his proactive interview last week. Do you know? He said he didn't say Marriott, just wanted my guess, only my opinion on that comment. He just wanted to know if you guys could talk more.
Thank you for whoever that was. I love that. He said something, you contended, he came back. You had a very adult interaction, rather than somebody being like, "Screw you, man."
Yeah.
So thank you for that, whoever that was. One of the things that's a challenge for us being a public company is something called Reg FD and our contract. So we did Fox's mobile application portfolio for years and years, and we weren't allowed to tell anybody. Chances are a lot of people on this, this stream have actually used Phunware software and never even known it. And so we're always going to be limited by what we can say and who we can say. Sometimes it's security. When we did the presidential election in 2020, there were some rules around what they wanted us to disclose and not disclose. We integrated our location software into Carrier, $20 billion, heating and cooling giant. We've never announced a press release on that or done anything because we don't want to confuse their branding around Blue Diamond, the mobile app that we integrated our location software into. And so we're going to respect that all the time. I'm going to respect my customers, but I'm also going to respect SEC regulations. So yes, Alan was correct. We have closed a very significant contract with a very significant hospitality brand that everyone will know, and we'll announce that and name that when the time comes and when it's appropriate. We're working on things like a joint press release, things like kind of what that rollout looks like. We're in the process of rolling that out right now, and so hopefully we'll be able to actually kind of talk about what that represents. But that's our business. We are not fly-by-night entrepreneurs. We are targeting and working with the biggest companies on the planet. And it takes a long time. It's a long sales cycle. But when they want to get this right, when they want to do it right, they go to Phunware. That's why we built the first NFL app, the first NASCAR app, all of Fox's mobile application portfolio, hospitals, stadiums, airports. When you want mobile done right, we're the company you go to. And so, we're really excited to announce that one because it could be really the start of something that could be massive.
Awesome. That's good. He said, thank you. Appreciate for answering the question. Guys, if there's any other questions, feel free to ask. We are getting towards the end of our AMA here. So if you have any last-minute questions, feel free to ask them here in the live chat. Let me run through here. I want to see if there's anything I missed here on Twitter as well. A lot of these questions I feel like we've already answered. Oh, here's a good one. So what has been the hardest challenge for your team at Phunware?
Ooh, man, that is a good one. Being early, 100%. Which is, I say this to say I'm so proud of the team because, we have a software company, any technology company, retention's tough. So when you look at PESA or Statista, any of these kind of statistics, we have an average for us, our core team, the average tenure is over 5 years. It's just crazy. It's 2-3x the normal. It's because they believe in what they're building, they believe in what they're doing. But that's hard, to tell people, think about, again, that Amazon example, to tell people in 2002, trust me, this is going to be huge, but you're not going to know it for another decade. It's Jesus, that's tough. I don't think it's going to take us that long. But, we're early. Using mobile and the way we're building mobile to be used is brand new. Because you don't see this. The last time you went to the grocery store, your mobile device didn't spring into action, didn't tell you anything, didn't help you. Last time you went to the airport or to a hotel, maybe if they're really advanced, you can now use your phone as your key card. But other than that, your real-world experiences are not tech-enabled. You have to go into your phone and be like, hey, Siri, can you please just help me? And, please, sir, may I have another? We want to change all that. When you show up on a venue, your phone should spring into action and serve you in a way that sometimes you didn't even know you needed. That's what we're endeavoring to do, but we're early. So, having our team working on this foundational stuff, we just released an update to Phun Wallet that's not sexy at all, but it will underpin all of the data and the user authentication and the security that will be required to now build the sexy feature. So when you're an entrepreneur and when you're doing anything innovative or disruptive, no one's going to understand you at first. People are going to think you're stupid. People are going to make fun of you. And when you're a public company, that just gets amplified. Yeah. So our employees see all that, and it's hard to maintain that motivation and persevere and be able to say, you know what, ignore that. We're building something transformational. Let's keep it going. So, the hardest thing is being early, but still having the perseverance and the faith, and the fortitude, and the conviction to see it through all the way to the end.
Awesome. That's awesome. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you guys all for being here and asking your questions. Randall, is there anything else you'd like to say to our audience here before we get off?
Just thank you. Please get involved. You can find a lot of information on just going to phunware.com. That'll air traffic control you anywhere you want to go. You go to the About Us tab, and you can see a lot of resources, videos, blogs, a lot of information about both Phunware and everything we're doing in blockchain. Download Phun Wallet on iOS and Android. You can go to phunwallet.com to learn more. You can go to buy.phuntoken.com to buy Phuntoken right now. You can learn more about Phuntoken at phuntoken.com. And you can learn more about Phuncoin at phuncoin.com. And so I really encourage you to learn, do your own research, see what we're about, see what's going on. We try to be as transparent as possible. You can follow us on Telegram at @FunFam. Remember, all the F's are a PH, so at FunFam and also at Phuntoken Chat. Both of those, all our executives are there every day. We also have a Discord server that you can get to through there as well. And so, we're just building the foundational layers. We're trying to get this right. We're not trying to be fast. There's an old saying in the Army, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. And that's what we're trying to do. We're building a compliant architecture to really take blockchain forward, because the future of blockchain rests with real companies solving real problems in the real world. Even Bitcoin was centralized at first. The only reason Bitcoin became Bitcoin is because arguably, we don't know who it is, but some people got together, pounded away on a keyboard, a lot of long sleepless nights, and probably a bunch of Red Bull and maybe some psychedelics, and they came up with Satoshi's white paper. That was a centralized effort. The future of blockchain will require centralized effort to commercialize decentralized ecosystems.
Yeah.
Make no mistake. So that's what we're doing, and we're going to need your help. We're going to need the community. So, take advantage of all the resources we're providing, and we'll try to, if you think of other questions, please reach out to Nero, please reach out to me. We'll do another of these. Please follow, DF Center, and a lot of the other great resources that are out there, because that's what's cool about this community. Is people really are open and transparent and available to you, at least the good ones. The ones that aren't trying to hide through, avatars and pretend like they don't exist.
Well, there you have it here, folks. Everything you guys be all find, I'll be putting in the description so you guys can find the links, join their communities, check out the website, download the app, start mining your Phtk tokens on your phone right now at the App Store. Thank you, Randall. Great again to have you on our channel. I appreciate talking with you. I'm very excited, and I look forward to see you guys' progress in the future. I'm super excited about this project.
Appreciate you having me on. Look forward to talking again soon.
Yep. Thank you, Randall. You guys have a great day. Take care. Like and subscribe if you have not done so already, and turn on those notifications if you have not done so. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace. Bye-bye. Bye, Randall.
Hey.
Take it easy. Well, that's it, folks. That wraps it up here. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Like I said, go to the website here, Phuntoken.com. I know you guys can't see me because I was on the Zoom. If I get out the Zoom, let me see if I show up. Maybe I'll show up. No. I would have to restart the Zoom. Yeah. Thank you guys all for being here. Make sure to join that website. I'll send you guys the link here in the comments. So you guys can check out the website. I would definitely say, dude, get going on getting the free Phtk tokens, the Phun tokens. You can get them right on the app. All you have to do is just answer a few questions, do some surveys, and then interact with the app. You just hit it every day, every 24 hours. You get like free 5 tokens. All you have to do is hit click, and it starts mining your tokens. Definitely really cool. It'll reward you and your engagements with brands and terms. And you guys see, you can download it on the App Store and Google Play. I'll send you guys the link here as well for the App Store, so you guys can start getting in on that. And the Google Play. Get on Google Play. These are all the links here, folks. So, appreciate you guys all for being here today. I will be going live again. I'll actually be taking Monday off, guys. I'll be out of town. I'm going to be making content for my other channels. So I'll be out of town Monday, Thursday, and Wednesday. So our next live stream will not be until Thursday, September 1st. So I will see you guys September 1st. Will be our next live stream. It'll be the same time, 11 a.m. on Thursday. Yeah, because remember, I'm switching my schedules. Switching my schedule to Mondays and Thursdays through the week for my live schedule, my live streams. So Thursday the 1st will be our next live stream. Again, thank you guys all for being here and tuning in. Make sure to like and subscribe if you have not done so already. I will see you guys on the next one. Peace. Adios.